Students, in today's class we will study about oxidation of alcohols. When alcohols are oxidized, then what happens? That there is dehydrogenation taking place. See how? Suppose this is your alcohol molecule. So here two bond cleavages take place. One bond, this OH bond is broken, and the other, this CH bond is broken. So in this way hydrogen is removed, and in the same time here a double bond is introduced. Means your alcohol is converted to a carbonyl compound. You will get the product. See here, this here double bond. So an alcohol is converted to aldehyde. Since here we have taken primary alcohol, it is converted to aldehyde. If we take secondary alcohol, ketone will be formed. Tertiary alcohol are a bit difficult to oxidize, but in the presence of a strong oxidizing agent, they are oxidized to the carboxylic acids. Right? Now let us see one by one. Now students, here since hydrogen is removed, these oxidation reactions are also an example of dehydrogenation. Right? So now let us take one by one. So first, the reaction with primary alcohol. The reaction with primary alcohol. So primary alcohol, such as we have ethanol. Right. Now if you take here mild oxidizing agent such as chromic anhydride, or you can take PCC. PCC is pyridine chlorochromate. It is a complex made up of pyridine, then chromium anhydride and HCl. Right. So a complex is made up of these three things. Right. What are those three things? That is pyridine, chromium trioxide and HCl. It is known as pyridinium chlorochromate. So this PCC, it is a mild oxidizing agent and it will oxidize this alcohol to the aldehyde. Understood? So primary alcohol is converted to aldehyde under the presence of mild oxidizing agent. Now suppose if you take strong oxidizing agent. So if you take a strong oxidizing agent, then what happens? What are strong oxidizing agent? You can take here acidic potassium permanganate or acidic potassium dichromate. So first of all, you will get here aldehyde in case of primary alcohol, which will further get oxidized to give you carboxylic acid, and the number of carbon atom in the carboxylic acid formed will be same as the carbon in alcohol. Right, this you have to remember, that in the case of primary alcohol the number of carbon atoms in the parent alcohol and acid are same. So in the presence of a strong oxidizing agent, directly you will get carboxylic acid. This will be formed in the intermediate reaction, but the result will be your carboxylic acid. So this happens with primary alcohol. Now what happens with secondary alcohol? Let us see. When you have secondary alcohol. Now in the case of secondary alcohol, let us take here propanetol, right, and you oxidize it in the presence of chromic anhydride. Right, then what will happen here? Same, this and this bond will be broken, here double bond O will be introduced. Means your alcohol will be converted to ketone. Your alcohol plus H2O will be relieved. Right, so your alcohol will be converted to ketone. Here also water will be removed. H2 from here, O from here, so water will be removed. So in this way the secondary alcohols, they are converted to ketone, right, under the presence of mild oxidizing agent. But if you again have a strong oxidizing agent, then what will happen? Then the ketone which is formed it is further oxidized to the carboxylic acid, and it will form the cleavage of bond will take place. Here you will get CH3COH, that is ethanoic acid, and one acid from this. So this is one carbon containing acid, that is formic acid. But students, formic acid, it is a weak acid, hence it will further decompose to give you carbon dioxide and water. It will oxidize to give you carbon dioxide and water. So the result will be ethanoic acid, carbon dioxide and water. Now you see that this alcohol contain 3 carbon, but this ketone contain also 3 carbon, but this acid contain only 2 carbon. So in the case of secondary alcohol, the result, that is the carboxylic acid which is formed, will have lesser number of carbon atom than the parent alcohol. Understood? And suppose this is symmetrical ketone, suppose here is unsymmetrical ketone, then in that case the cleavage of the bond will take such that this carbonyl group will go with the carbon with the lesser number of carbon atom. Suppose here C2H5 is there and here CH3 is there, then this carbonyl group will go with CH3. C2H5 will form another acid. Got? That is known as Popoff's rule. So we will study it further, but we remember here only. Now what about tertiary alcohol? In the case of tertiary alcohol, they do not undergo oxidation easily, but suppose if they undergo oxidation, it take place in the presence of very strong oxidizing agent, and it will also form the acids with lesser number of carbon atom. Right. Now next we will study dehydrogenation reactions in the presence of copper. So dehydrogenation reaction we will study next. Dehydrogenation. It happens in the presence of copper metal at 573 Kelvin temperature, right? In the presence of copper at 573 Kelvin. See how this also we will study separately. For the primary alcohol, when we take primary alcohol, say ethanol, you can take any alcohol. I am taking here ethanol for your simplicity. In the presence of copper metal, and the temperature required is 573 Kelvin. So same dehydrogenation take place. Dehydrogenation means removal of hydrogen, and you will get aldehyde. So primary alcohol will give you aldehyde, same as that of mild oxidation, right? Now if you have secondary alcohol, in the case of secondary alcohol, in the presence of copper at 573 Kelvin temperature, same dehydrogenation will take place and ketone will be formed. Got it? Same dehydrogenation, hydrogen from here and here will be removed and double bond will be introduced. So same dehydrogenation will take place and you will get ketone. From primary alcohol you are getting aldehyde, from secondary alcohol you will get ketone. Now what will happen if you have tertiary alcohol? I will write here. So if you have tertiary alcohol, in tertiary alcohol, instead of dehydrogenation, dehydration take place. Right? What is dehydration? Dehydration means removal of water. So dehydration take place, and let us take one tertiary alcohol. This is tertiary butyl alcohol. So here H from any one of these places, all are beta carbons, so from anywhere you can take. So H from here, OH from here. In the presence of copper at 573 Kelvin, water is removed. Suppose you are removing H from here, then double bond will be introduced here. alkene will be formed. Understood? So in the case of tertiary alcohol, you will get an alkene instead of any aldehyde or ketone. You will get alkene because here dehydration is taking place instead of dehydrogenation. Got it? Now next we will study here the properties of alcohol is finished. Now we will study some commercially important alcohol. So students, two alcohols, that is methanol and ethanol, they are highly commercial important alcohols. They are used as a solvent greatly in the industry. Methanol, first we will study methanol. Methanol was previously prepared from the destructive distillation of wood, and therefore it is known as wood spirit. What is methanol? Methanol is CH3OH, right? So it is known as wood spirit. But nowadays it is not prepared from the destructive destruction of wood. Instead it is prepared from carbon monoxide hydrogenation. When carbon monoxide is hydrogenated at very high temperature, that is 573 to 673 Kelvin temperature and very high pressure of 200 to 300 atmosphere, in the presence of catalyst zinc oxide and chromic anhydride, right? Then we get methanol. So this is method of preparation for methanol, right? Regarding property, it's a colorless liquid. This methanol, it is a colorless liquid and it boils at a temperature of 337 Kelvin. It is very poisonous in nature. You know, if drink alcohol containing methanol is drunk, then a person can become blind. And even if high quantities are there, large quantities are there, it may even cause the death. So that much poisonous is methanol, right? But it is used as a solvent in paints and varnishes, and it is also used for making formaldehyde. Formaldehyde, that is methanol, it is a very important chemical, so because it is used to make formalin. Formalin is a preservative for the specimens, right? So methanol is used to make formaldehyde. By the oxidation of methanol we make formaldehyde, and that formaldehyde is used to form formalin, a preservative for biological specimen. Understood? Now next we will study about ethanol. So methanol is clear now, that carbon monoxide when hydrogenated at high temperature and high pressure in the presence of these catalysts, methanol is formed. So next we will study ethanol. Now ethanol, it is produced by the fermentation of sugar. Now the sugar is crystallized from cane sugar juice. After crystallization of sugar, the waste product, that is which contains still 30% sugar, but we cannot crystallize sugar from that, because the sugar, if it will be crystallized from that 30% remain, it will be very dirty sugar. It will be brown colored sugar, which is of very low commercial importance. So that 30% juice containing sugar, known as molasses, it is left behind, and it is used for abstracting this alcohol, ethanol. Ethanol is C2H5OH. It is also known as ethyl alcohol, right? So from the fermentation of cane sugar juice, that is molasses, and you know that sugar is C12H22O11. It is fermented in the presence of an enzyme invertase, and it will give you glucose and fructose. Glucose and fructose both have same formula. They are isomers of each other. They are functional isomers of each other. So glucose and fructose are obtained from this sucrose. Sugar is sucrose, right? By the fermentation of sucrose you are getting glucose and fructose. From where the sucrose is coming? It is coming from the molasses. Got it? So this molasses is fermented to give glucose and fructose. Now this glucose or fructose, anyone you can take, it is further fermented in the presence of another enzyme, say zymase, right? And it will give you ethanol and carbon dioxide. So this is how you get ethanol. So ethanol is produced by the fermentation of sugar. Got it? Now this, from where this invertase enzyme is coming? This invertase enzyme is coming from the yeast, right? So when this products, this compound such as molasses, or we can obtain from the grapes also, ripen grapes also, when they are left for so many days, they ripen and yeast grow on their surface, and that yeast will release those enzymes which will undergo the fermentation. Now during this fermentation, the thing which we have to remember is that there should be no oxygen, because this fermentation is carried out in the absence of oxygen. It is anaerobic fermentation, right? So no oxygen should be there. If oxygen will be there, this ethanol which is formed here, it will be converted to carboxylic acid, that it is converted to ethanoic acid. Now ethanoic acid is sour in taste, hence the taste of the ethanol will be deteriorated, right? Now the other thing which you have to remember is that when this ethanol is produced, when 14% of ethanol is formed, then what happens? The activity of these enzymes, it get inhibited. Further, if we carry out the reaction, these enzymes do not carry out the reaction properly due to their activity is slowed down. So we have to remove that 14% of ethanol, and then we have to distill it. On distillation, what will happen? It will grow up to 95% alcohol, which is known as rectified spirit. Now if you want to further get 100% pure alcohol, which is known as absolute alcohol, then you have to distill the mixture with benzene. So when you will distill with benzene, then at 78 degrees Celsius you will obtain ethanol, which is the boiling point of ethanol. 78 degrees Celsius is boiling point of ethanol. So at 78 degrees Celsius ethanol will be formed, which is 100% pure ethanol, and it is known as absolute alcohol. Got it? Now it is also a colorless liquid, and it is highly inflammable, means it will catch fire. Nowadays you must have heard that sanitizers which are having this alcohol, if you bring it near the fire, it will, if you bring it near gas stove or something like that, then it will catch fire because it contain alcohol. That sanitizers also contain alcohol, this ethanol only, so it will catch very easily the fire, and hence we have to be very careful. So it is colorless, it is inflammable liquid, and it has a characteristic smell. Its boiling point is 78 degrees Celsius. It is soluble in water, as well as it is also soluble in the organic solvent. And you know that what are the uses of ethanol? It is used in alcoholic beverages. It is used in almost all the cough syrups. It is used as a fuel. As a fuel, spirit which we are using in the biology lab in a spirit lamp, that is nothing but ethanol, right? As power alcohol also it is used. As power alcohol, nowadays in the foreign countries, due to shortage of petrol, we are mixing petrol with this alcohol. 80% petrol is taken and 20% ethanol is taken, and that is known as gasohol. So that gasohol is used as a fuel, and then it is used as a solvent. Next, students, we will study about denatured alcohol. Denatured alcohol. So what is denatured alcohol? When you mix this ethanol with anything which make this ethanol unfit for drinking, such as methanol can be added, but commercially we add copper sulfate to impart blue color, so it can be identified that it is denatured. And the second thing which we add here, it is pyridine. Now pyridine, it is a very bad smelling compound, so when pyridine is mixed, its smell also go very bad, and we can easily identify that it is denatured alcohol, and the drinking can be stopped, right? So this denatured alcohol, it is made unfit for drinking by mixing poisonous chemicals. This is poisonous. Copper sulfate is poisonous, so it will become poisonous, hence a person cannot drink it. Similarly, methanol is poisonous, so it can be mixed and the person will not drink it. Why we are making the alcohol denatured? Because the commercial importance of alcohol is very high, right? And what happens if suppose it is not denatured, it can be used by the laborers and the staff for drinking purpose. So by making it denatured, we are making them to stop drinking the alcohol. Got it? So this is how we make it denatured. Now next we will study in the next class, that is properties of phenol. Till then, goodbye.